getting pretty freaking excited to squat today. I think squats are going to be, I don't know about more than like half of all the quad volume, but definitely more than just one set. I kind of want to bust some out back to back. But before I even get into quads, hamstrings is just going to be the same as normal. Hamstring curls. Honestly, I'll probably just spam laying hamstring curls because the gym that I'm going to, it has a really good laying curl that I like. Like honestly, the best one that I've used. But the seated curl, I don't know. It's just something about it is just slightly funky. Yeah, I don't know. It's not bad. Like for the most part, equipment. Well, actually, no, that's not true. Sometimes equipment is bad. But no, I could sit there on that seated curl, get a pretty solid pump, whatever. But I want to do a machine where I know it'll feel a bit better for me, even if that's just subjectively. Even if there's no real difference in muscle stimulation or whatever. I just want to do what I want to do, right? So if I got the choice of seated or laying, and I like the laying curl more, I'll do the laying curl. So maybe, I don't know, 4 sets laying. Maybe I'll do some single leg, maybe double leg, maybe a drop set, maybe pause reps where like you go halfway up, stop the rep for a moment, and then you finish it. But at the end of the day, every set, all I'm doing is I'm taking my leg from a bent position, or no, from a straightened position to a bent position. I think you're going to have an easier time developing a mind-muscle connection, right, if we want to get all technical about it. If you can start to understand a pretty decent, well, if you can start to develop a pretty decent understanding of just anatomy, right? Like, rather than thinking to yourself, okay, I'm just going to bend my arms to do these curls. If you can sort of envision in your mind, like, all right, I'm going to tense my biceps to pull the weight upwards on these curls, right? If you sort of like break down movements to their lowest common denominator, it's just a little bit easier to understand. Like even when I do the funky Tom Platt style hack squats, right, where it looks like I'm moving a lot of shit around, my hips are coming off the pad and whatever else. But all I'm really thinking about in my mind is trying to extend my knees like you would if you're doing a leg extension. So, same thing with doing skull crushers, how it's like the same thing as a tricep push down, right? Or even a bench, whatever. Like you're not just doing this whole movement, you're trying to focus on whatever specific muscle you're targeting. So even if I'm doing pull downs or pullovers, I'm really just trying to get this action of flexing and stretching my lats. So, if you can kind of start to imagine when you're benching, right, pulling your arms upward with your chest rather than just pushing through your hands, maybe you'll kind of have a eureka moment and you'll feel your fucking chest contract and you'll say, holy crap. Whoa. More likely than not, you'll probably get a better pump as well. Because, I'm not going to say it's a massive difference, but I kind of do think it might be a massive difference. When you're doing reps, and this might not really go for like compound heavy lifts as much as it would just for kind of lighter isolation based movements, right? But when I do a set of dumbbell curls, if I'm really trying to throw around a ton of weight, it's a little bit harder. But at the top of the rep, I try to get an extra little just moment of like contraction, more so than just doing a normal rep and then coming back down. Like I'm not just getting to the top and then dropping it. I'm coming up to the top and then just an extra little something. So, same thing goes for a cable press or a leg extension or these hamstring curls that we're about to get started. If you can do your reps with a little bit more thought and intent with each one, I think you're gonna get at least a solid pump afterwards, which, in the process, it's not like getting a pump, it makes your muscles grow, but just everything that you do to get a pump, right, is gonna make them grow. So, I'm not gonna say you need to get a pump to have a good workout, but I think having a solid ass pump at the end it's not the indicator, but it's a indicator that some shit went down. You know what I'm saying? So, pre has already been consumed. 1 scoop of blood, no, 2 scoops of bloodshot, 1 scoop of hostility. There we go. There we freaking go. I ran out of beta-alanine. Ran out of the hostile supplements beta-alanine. I got some more coming. It's kind of, I'll admit, it's a little bit annoying if you get that little tingly feeling from the beta-alanine. But after the first couple of days, I pretty much just got used to it. So I got to get back on track with that once that ships. But I'm going to warm out my calves a little bit before I do any kind of hamstring curls, just because if I don't, then what will happen is the back of my knee it kind of has a little bit of a pinch to it, which I don't really love. So, if you're about to bench or do your heavy tricep pushdowns or something, well, I thought I was going to sneeze, then, let's say you go into your actual working weight and you kind of feel a little bit of a tweak or a twinge or whatever, maybe try to take a step back, look at what you did to prepare, basically your warm-up. And if you don't think that you did enough, maybe do a little more. If I were to just jump on to a heavy straight bar cable pushdown with a ton of weight, a weight that my muscles can control, I wouldn't be worried about pulling my tricep if I just grabbed the cable stack and pushed it down. But my elbows would just be a little bit tender, right? Because they're not warmed up. A warm-up is not just an arbitrary activity. You got to get prepared to load your frame. Right? So in doing so, if you have something that may be bothering you a little bit, maybe your shoulder's kind of something or whatever, just warm up the area a little bit extra. I'm sure it'll probably help. So enough of rambling. I've got exactly 2 hours and 12 minutes to finish this leg day. More than enough time. That is the best case scenario. I hate having to rush a workout. Ugh. So let's just get in there. Alright, so typically I've been starting off hamstring curls with, honestly, just going as heavy as the machine allows, just throwing the stack around for a set of, whatever, to, basically failure with some partials. So instead of doing it like that, I'm going to start a little bit lighter and really try to get it as let's just say contracted as possible. Because when I throw the whole stack around, sure, it's a good set. I'm really fatiguing my hamstrings. I'm getting pumped. But, I'm only doing maybe 90 degrees on my legs. There's still more room for me to squeeze, but I kind of have to go a little bit lighter. I almost feel like when I go super heavy, that's the equivalent of doing a heavy barbell curl, but only getting to this high up. Or if I go lighter, I could get all the way up here and seriously squeeze. Get that extra moment extra moment of a contraction, like I was talking about in the car. So I'll start with a set of these, really hold the weight at the top. And by the time I've done 10 reps, even though it's half the stack, my hamstrings should be on fire. So let's just get started. Okay. Whew. Yeah. Let's do 3 more like that. Nothing else to say. Let's just repeat that set 3 more times. Okay. Oh, fuck. Okay. Oh, fuck. Okay. I think let's just, let's go a little bit heavier, just throw the stack around. But I really like that. I mean, half the weight I normally use, but I still feel just as fatigued, if not maybe even a little more pumped. So, whether or not I feel that way, because this is the superior method, or just because I haven't done it like this for a little while, so it feels new, it's got that novelty factor, not totally sure. But either way, it just goes to show that, you know, changing shit up, as long as you don't go too crazy with it, it's probably a good idea. So let's throw some real weight around. Come on. Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. Oh, sure. Let's try that weight one more time, and then that's fucking, that's getting heavy. I'm gonna have to drop it. But I think, yeah, I think no cable RDLs today. We'll just sit here. And I mean, all we're gonna do is 8 sets of seated hamstring curls. If you're hitting a muscle and you're pretty much hitting the whole fucking thing in a, you know, way that's doing a solid amount of fatigue, and you're getting pumped, I don't mind just spamming one movement for a lift. You know, if for whatever reason I was in the zone on incline bench and like it just felt sick, I could sit and do a whole chest workout of just incline bench and gradually make the weight lighter as I get weaker. But let's finish up hamstrings. Oh, 2 more. Oh. Oh. The Doom Slayer theme was going pretty fucking hard for that set. Oh. Okay. Okay, no, now one more. When I do a ton of sets on the same machine, sometimes I lose track of I lose track of how many sets I've done. I used to keep a little notepad, and I would scratch like a number off, especially when I was lifting in the home gym, because an arm day at the home gym was just 8 sets of bicep curls. So every time I'd finish one, I'd write a little tally mark so I wouldn't lose track. Now I just get to check the clips, but one more and then I'm gonna get squats started. Not that I don't usually feel hyped, but I'm feeling pretty hyped right now. Okay. All right. Okay. Just, well, for one thing, standing up and just feeling my hamstrings. Oh, dude. I don't know if I could be more satisfied with this pump. So, I'm gonna go warm up on leg extensions and then we can jump to the first quad set. All right, so I've sat down for about 7-ish minutes, just kind of gradually increasing the weight on these warm-up sets. You know, I started with like 70 pounds on each leg, 5 reps, whatever. Then I went a little heavier, 100, 130, 170. So now, I mean, the numbers on these machines, it's not like it's really that many pounds because there's all these pulleys and shit going on. But, you know, whatever. Almost about 2/3 of the stack. So, initially, if I were to try to go this heavy, my knees would be on freaking fire. But after a proper warm-up, kind of getting my tendons or whatever exposed to some tension, now I feel comfortable throwing this much weight around. So I'm thinking, well, I don't know. I mean, this quad day is not solidified yet. I don't really know what I'm going to do in terms of the exact numbers of sets and whatever. So let's just do one set of leg extensions and go from there. And maybe I'll do another set after, so we'll have to see. Start with the weak leg first, of course. Let's do one more. All right, I think one set, double leg, whole stack, really throw it around, burn out, and then let's get some squats started. Okay. All right, I lied. One more and then squats. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Okay, let's go squat. All right, so I did 1 rep of 2 plates, then I did 1 rep of 3 plates, and then I did 1 rep. Actually, no, I didn't do a rep of 365, but I just sort of knew based on that rep of 3 plates that this would feel good. And honestly, I noticed in the last leg day video where I squatted, I was squatting a little bit high. I think it was because my quads are so pumped. Honestly, even just going down into the bottom of the rep, like into the hole of the squat, it almost feels like my whole quad is like a knee wrap. You know, I don't mess with the wraps, but I know like elbow wraps, knee sleeves, as you bend, it almost gets like tenser and tenser and tenser. So like I feel like the pump itself is gonna make the weight feel a little bit lighter. So I'm gonna be a little more conservative than I could. Like I think I could throw 4 around for a good set, but I think I'm just gonna try 365 because I'm not used to squatting mid-lift. I'm used to squatting when I'm really fresh. So I don't wanna, you know, if you're gonna try a new thing in your training or a new whatever, or a new machine that you've never tried before, even though let's say it's a chest press and you're used to maxing out chest presses, if you've never done one, maybe be a little bit, just a little cautious. So I think 365 is still gonna be a really good set. So I'm gonna take a second and get hyped up and throw it around for as many as possible. I want to hit failure, but I don't want to have to re-rack it. So really what's going to determine whether or not I re-rack the bar is if I think that I gave it like almost 100% effort on that rep. And if I've got a little bit left in the tank and I think I can get another one, then I'm going to go for it. So let's get ready for this shit. Come on. Come on. Oh my goodness. Fuck. Yeah. No. Okay. That was a decent set. That was not as hard as I could have gone. Oh my goodness. Okay, I think I want to drop it to 3 plates. I could kind of feel my adductor coming to play just a little. So for this 3 plate set, I mean, I'm gonna aim for 25 reps, but I gotta take a breath first. I was really trying to milk the reps on that last set too, going real slow with them. So this set, a little different technique. I'm just gonna bust out as many reps as possible, as quickly as possible. So this is sort of like, I mean, pretty much, honestly, a little bit similar to the beginning with those hamstring curls, right? I did a lower weight, more controlled. Well, I guess now I'm going lower in weight for the less controlled set, but you get the gist, you know, slow, controlled, a lot of time under tension. And this set, you know, I'm going to try to burn out by way of just doing as many reps as quick as possible. You know, as long as you do a hard set, it's probably going to be effective, assuming you're not doing some legit mumbo jumbo weirdness. So I'm going to take another minute and then throw this shit around. Yeah. Yeah. Far. One more. All right, slight change of plans. I think I'm gonna try something I've never done before. So I'm gonna pre-exhaust with leg extensions. So I'll throw the stack around, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 reps, whatever. And then come try to do a little bit of a drop set into the squats. I've done this before with machine leg press, and I like it a lot. And 3 plates isn't feeling that heavy, even though it's still, you know, not nothing. I think I'll be able to get at least a couple of reps after a drop set. But even if I don't, then I'll learn not to do this again. So there's no way to lose in this situation for me. So let's go throw this shit around. Come on. Okay, come on. Oh, fine. Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. I should have gone for one more. God damn it. But I like that a lot. I think I might do that drop set again in the future. Oh, dude. It just freaking feels hard to even like bend my leg. Let's just finish with a set of leg extensions and go check the pump. Oh. Oh, jeez. I don't think I know it. I took my foot off the gas for those squat sets. You know, I think on almost all of those sets, I could have got at least a couple more for sure. I think I just let a little bit of fatigue from the fact that I've already done most of my workout kind of get to me. And that's not just like me saying like kind of a badass sense, like you can always do more. It's like, no, I could have gone harder on those squats. They were good, but that's a little bit of a lesson for me. I got to make sure I don't lose the intensity as the lift progresses. Because it's not hard to sort of get into the mindset of thinking like, you know, all right, I've already done half my lift hard. Maybe I can go a little bit easier on the second half. Yeah, no, I'm a little bit ashamed of those squats. Just not for the squat weight, but just kind of the intensity. So that's a good mindset to have. You know, if you ever notice that you really didn't push yourself too hard, right, you should take notice of that and try to adjust next time. You know, I'm not a perfect lifter. I don't hit every set with 100% effort every time, but I want to, right? I want to get there. So always more to learn, and not just in terms of like exercises or like rep schemes or techniques. Like, you know, over time as a lifter, you should get a little bit tougher in your mind to be able to push every set as hard as you can, and not let the fact that maybe you're a little bit tired
or maybe the workout's almost over, you're ready to leave, you got to cut it short. You know, don't let any of these sort of external factors cut your intensity down from the max. So I'm going to try to make up for it with a crazy set of leg extensions, and then we'll go check the pump. Okay. Let's go check the pump. All right, legs complete. Let's see if we got any kind of pump going on. That's a rhetorical statement, of course, but kind of feel like I have to say it to build suspense. So, I mean, this is 1 minute after that last set. I just came down the steps. Oh my God, I thought I was going to freaking stumble and crash with the whole little setup. Would not have been ideal. That is for sure. So, that was a good leg day, man. Definitely pushed it, but I also definitely could have pushed it harder. So all I got to do is come back with a vengeance for the next one. Oof. Ooh. Yeah, you can't really see any freaking hamstrings coming out. They're fully pumped. But the quads themselves, definitely holding on to a solid chunk of meat on either end. So I'm going to go back up there and just sit on the adductor machine for a couple minutes. Probably, 8 good sets. Same thing with calves, and let's get in the car. There we go. All right. Fucking forgot to turn the mic on, but luckily I caught myself this time. So what I was saying was, after I finished legs, that's not just like a gym that just has a weight room. That's a YMCA. So they've got like a pool, they've got a basketball court, plus some other stuff. But I stopped down at the court, grabbed a ball, shot about 15 threes, and I didn't make a single one. But I'm just going to blame that on the fact that I was fatigued from legs and not take it too personally. So, even though I think I definitely could have gone harder on those squats, got a couple of more solid reps out, I do think that just doing the squats for some of my volume, like even though the weight wasn't absolutely insane, I'm still feeling it. Like, obviously, pumped, burning sensation, whatever, but it does feel a little bit different than normal. Like, pressing movements for quads are definitely a different stimulus than just leg extensions. I'm not going to say leg extensions don't work. I definitely think they do. In terms of quad isolation, honestly, I think it's hard to beat. But it's not the same sort of like achy, well, maybe not achy per se, but like it doesn't give you that same burn as doing a set of squats hard. So next time I gotta make sure I seriously push the squats a little bit harder. I think I just have to go heavier. For me with the squats, it's not very difficult for me to hit failure when I use a lot of weight. Like, it's easy for me to, hit a level of fatigue where I'm literally gonna fail a rep within like the 8 to 10 rep range for squats. But when I'm getting a little bit higher up into the 14, 15, 16, whatever rep range, it's just a little bit harder. I think I'm more prone to want to re-rack it just because, honestly, just because I'm a freaking baby. I'm like, oh, it's getting hard. So, like, when it comes to the leg extensions, it's super easy for me to hit failure with high reps. Like, I can keep burning them out until I can barely even move the weight. But squats must just be a little bit more taxing on my mind. It makes me want to re-rack it quicker. So I gotta toughen up. make sure I really push it harder next time. But no, solid pump. Definitely stimulated my freaking quads and hamstrings, and I guess I could get technical. Your little vastus lateralis, medialis. I've never really been one to like look up specific muscle insertion names. I don't know. I mean, I think it's a little bit cheesy. If somebody's in the gym and they're like, I'm targeting my, yeah, I'm just being a hater right now. It's whatever. I'm just saying I don't really get into it. You got your teardrop on the quad, you got the sweep, and then you got that little middle part. I think that's about as complicated as I want to get with it. But all of them were freaking fully pumped. Even with the pump and not ideal lighting in that little yoga room, I'm still seeing some solid separations. So that's sweet. That is freaking sweet. I'm definitely excited to get fully carbed up though, because within the first week of me eating my bulking diet, which honestly the first week itself, I won't even really have to make sure I hit my specific calorie goals. Kind of just from eating as much as I'm going to want to, that'll put me in the 5,000, 6,000 calorie range. But within that first week, I'm going to launch up from yesterday I was 232. I'm within a week, I think I'm going to at least be like 241 just from all the water and carbs and like completely filling out. Now that is not 8 pounds of muscle. Right? Don't be a fool. That is just, all the muscles on my frame getting filled up with water and glycogen. Glycogen being sugar, right? That's why marathon runners, and I guess a little bit more of a reference that connects to me is, bodybuilders carbing up, right? Before a little bodybuilding show, I don't know why I said it like that. Before a bodybuilding show, you're totally carb depleted, whatever. You have some sweets the night before or even the day of, right? All of those, at least a large portion of that glycogen, those carbs, it's going to get siphoned into your muscles because that's what your muscles are using as their primary source for fuel, before it gets into ATP production, whatever. But I'm not particularly informed on the science behind it. But basic gist, if you eat a lot of carbs, your muscles are going to be nice and full, and for the most part, they're going to be in their strongest state. It would make sense. When your gas tank is full, you can output the most energy. But yeah, what I was trying to say was, first week of the bulk, massive spike in the weight, and then once I'm fully carbed up, and that's my new normal, then I'll gradually increase in weight with some muscle mass gain. You're not going to really, when it comes to a day-by-day basis, tracking your weight isn't insanely important. Just because, I do track my weight. I got it plugged into a Google spreadsheet, which is pretty cool. So I get to see the graphs go up and down every bulk. But day by day, it's a pretty big variability. I could be 2 pounds heavier one morning because I was fully hydrated, or maybe 2 pounds lighter the next morning because I didn't have a lot to drink before I went to bed. But week by week, if you're trying to change something about your build, be it bulking or cutting, you should see some trend, or you should at least see some difference visibly. If you don't, then all that means is everything you're doing, even though you might think that you're bulking hard and you're eating a ton of food, or you might think that you're good and you haven't been eating a ton of calories and you're in a deficit, if you don't see any changes, or you can't numerically track any changes, then you're not making any changes, So in that sense, it's not just about your mindset or your perception of what you're doing. It's all about the actual results that you're getting, which you have to look at as an indicator of, am I making progress, or is everything I've been doing just enough to maintain my build, right? And that's on you. That's on you, man. You got to figure that out. So if your buddy has been telling you he's bulking hard, he's eating a ton of food, and then, a month passes and he's the exact same weight, he's been eating at maintenance. He's just been eating at maintenance. Same thing if you're trying to cut down. If you're still the same weight or the same body fat percentage, or it doesn't look like you've had a visible change, as a beginner, if you're, let's say you're a little bit on the softer side, but you haven't trained before, that's when you can kind of gain muscle, burn fat at the same time, because that's when you're most prone to the stimuli of weight training. So as a beginner, changes in the scale aren't exactly a perfect indicator of your progress, because you can be gaining muscle and burning fat at the same time for a little bit. So you could stay the same weight, but your before and after from like a couple of months can look extremely different. So that's a little bit of a situation where it's not just about the scale, it's about using your eyes, looking at your actual body fat percentage. And then another thing about that, don't get too freaking caught up in trying to figure it out like it's a numbers game. Like, I'll see everybody like, guess my body fat percentage. Is it 14%, 11%? Who cares, man? Like, if you're just looking at someone, attributing the amount of leanness or, somebody's leanness to a number, like their body fat percentage, like it just, it's good, but don't think about it too much. I think I might want to get a DEXA scan soon, just on the topic of body fat percentage, so I can kind of get a little bit of details about the build. The DEXA scans are cool because it's not just a normal like water displacement body fat test, which just tells you your body fat percentage. The DEXA scan, or like an MRI fancy scan like that, it can actually tell you like, your right arm is 2 pounds heavier than your left arm, or stuff like that. So maybe I'll do that soonish. That'd be kind of cool. Go over the results, get a little clips post lift of that. We'll see. That is not actually planned. I'm just kind of spitting out ideas out loud. But for the rest of the night, Goodwill closes at 8. I'm gonna go peruse, see if I can find any heat. Then go home, chill. I've got some ground beef and some low-carb tortillas, plus some fat-free cheddar cheese shredded. So couple that with some low-carb Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, and I'm gonna have a freaking treat of a meal. So cardio in the morning, and then I've got chest and side delts, maybe even a little bit of front delts tomorrow. We'll have to see how I feel about that, but solid lift. I know I'm gonna be locked in at my calorie deficit amount, just because I've only had, my phone's in my bag. I've only had about, I think 12-ish hundred calories so far, and it's only well, not only, it's already 6 o'clock. So I'm not going to be awake for too much longer. Going to bed early, combined with, eating your food later in the day, if you're trying to cut down, that's probably the easiest situation. It's not very hard to skip breakfast, right? It's not very hard to, I don't want to say like, well, I guess I kind of do. It's not really too hard to kind of fast in the beginning of the day. You can go without breakfast, and then you just have your lunch, whatever. But it's a bit harder to go to sleep hungry. I don't think most people are, quote unquote, cheating on their diet in the morning right when they wake up. Usually it's like 11 o'clock, you're getting ready for bed, but let's say your calorie goal was locked in at 2,000 calories, and you hit 2,000 calories at like 6 o'clock at night. That little carton of Ben and Jerry's, that's gonna be teasing you. It's gonna be calling your name. And I've been victim to this as well. Taking a couple scoops, try to get on top of that sort of thing. But that's all I gotta say. Cardio in the morning, and then a lift tomorrow. What else can you ask for? So I'll freaking see you next time.